Hello and welcome to DFS Coach Talk. I am Joe Sarvati, affectionately known as Coach, and I am joined by our two NFL pros, Josh Crash Davis and Stephen Miller Time Miller, and we are here to bring you all of the action for Week 2 in the NFL. How are you, gentlemen? Stephen, how are you this week? You ready for some more football?
I am. I'm very excited about this week. It was a crazy week last week, and just excited to get it going.
Nice. Crash, how about you?
Yeah, I'm ready for week 2. We're starting to see, just a few of the up and coming guys that we're going to want to target this year. And I know it's just 1 week, but you can kind of still start to see it a little bit developing. And here as we go, it's just going to get better and better. And I think we're going to have a real edge on our competition here in a couple of weeks for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's great stuff, and it's great for DFS. We've got some great contests in the industry all over the place. DraftKings, Fanduel, Yahoo have some big pools. We're going to give away some tickets today too to some folks that are listening in. When we looked at it last week, we gave away those $5 tickets for the Millie Maker. This week, DraftKings has a $3. So we decided we're going to give away groups of 2 tickets to 5 people that are in this entire deal today. And so you'll get 2 shots at it, 2 $3 shots at the $1.5 million. And all we ask is you give us a shout out when you take down the big bucks. Yeah. So if you get called out during the podcast for a win of one of the duo of tickets, then just jump on Twitter at DFS Coach Talk, shoot us your PayPal email, and we'll send that to you. And you can enter and try to take down the big bucks. And hopefully the information we share with you here tonight will get you ready for tomorrow. If you're listening Sunday morning, that's awesome too. We wanted to get this out every Saturday evening at 8 p.m. Eastern so that you have a chance to build some lineups, get all the information here that you can. We've already posted in Discord the ownership projections and player projections points wise. So we'll talk about those a little bit today when we go game by game and really try to get you ready to get some takedowns. So the other big news, fellas, is everybody that's in this live podcast today is going to get the opportunity to come aboard at Coach Talk for 1 week for free. Our own Deb Lutz, Deluxe as she's known, had come up with the idea. She said, we have such a fantastic group that's always in there in the live chat talking with us. Let's give them a chance to see everything we have here at Coach Talk. So we decided we're going to do it. So I see our man, Brett Trimble, who has been with me since the beginning here at Coach Talk. He's the behind the scenes brain behind everything that we're doing back here. And he is going to post a link in here in the chat, and you'll be able to sign up for a free week of Coach Talk. So what do you think, guys? We're going to have a whole bunch of new people checking out your lineups this week. So no pressure, fellas.
Yeah, I'm used to it. So, Steve, he'll do fine. I mean, he doesn't change no matter what. So
absolutely. And, we're for those that don't know that are going to jump in to be a member, and it's up to you if you want to, but you get that week free. We give out full lineups on Fanduel and full lineups on Yahoo, and then a core 7-man core build for a single entry and GPP on DraftKings. So we're going to give you a lot of the tools and lineups that you need. We recommend that, you take those lineups in. You can play them flat out. If you want to tweak around with a few guys, that is completely up to you. For those that have multiple entries, it gives you a chance to do that as well. So very excited about it, and want to say hello to those in chat real quick, and then I'll shut up and let you guys do most of the talking today. That's for sure. Bankroll Theory, King of Smack, Fear Money Entertainment, Niles Simmons, Gizmo Perk. Great to see you in there again. David Dulac is back. I love having David in there. He missed our baseball. We missed you in baseball today, David. Romel H, I think, is new. I'm not sure I remember Romel being in here. Welcome to the family. RJ, Bev, Payne, Feel the Pain, our buddies in there, boy from Cali, of course, and Tony Boyer. Tony Boyer, how are you, man? Great to see you in here. Great. Oh, you were with us last year. That helped. Fantastic, man. Beautiful stuff. All right, ground rules, and then we're going to fly into this. We'll give out tickets throughout. Make sure you tweet us so you can get the tickets, because we do have some unclaimed that people didn't claim when they win. So if you win, definitely at DFS Coach Talk, send us the info. Whenever we have the link posted in here, if you want to start signing up to join in a Coach Talk for the free week, we will put that in chat here, unless Brett has already put it up. I don't see it yet. So Brett will probably post that here shortly. That'll get you your week membership at Coach Talk. And if you have any questions, put them in the chat. I'll keep checking that out as these guys are breaking everything down. And also wanted to mention, if you want to super chat, that doesn't go to us. We give it to charity every month. The month of September, we choose a member to select that charity. This week, or this month, David Dulac is selected Operation Hope. So if you do have a chance to click in and donate anything, it'll go right in that bucket, and we will send that forward to some really worthy charity. So very excited to be able to do that. All right. We are ready to roll. We're going to go through every game. We'll talk about each team. We'll break it down. We're not going to go super, super deep. Now that we'll have all of you guys and gals, hopefully as members, you'll get some more of that insight in Discord. We don't want to go too long. We want to be able to keep touch on each team, who we like, who we're fading. We'll check on ownership as we go to see how all of that pans out as well. Okay, here we go, guys. First game, it is the Miami Dolphins at the Baltimore Ravens. The game is Baltimore by 3.5. The over-under is 44.5. Supposed to be 79 warm degrees in Baltimore. Very little wind, so really conducive to some good results in this game for sure. So let's start out. Very first team, Miami Dolphins. Crash, are you leaning to any of the Dolphins to make your lineup, or do you have any sharp fades for us here?
I do like Jalen Waddle in this matchup. I think that teams are going to, key in on Tyreek Hill this year, and I think it's going to free up Jalen Waddle. He did get in the end zone last week, got targeted 5 times, had 4 receptions. So I do like Jalen Waddle here, and that's probably the only play for me on the Miami side.
Okay. How about you? What do you have to say about this one, Steven?
Yeah, I would either go with Jalen Waddle or Tyreek Hill in this situation. Kind of wanted to see last week how that running back situation was going to be, but I'm not 100% sold on anything going on there. So the only guys I would probably take would be Waddle or Tyreek Hill in this matchup.
Okay, and Tyreek Hill's getting a ton of love ownership-wise. Right now on DraftKings, he's the 3rd highest owned player, projected at almost 19%. So people wanting to dive in on that side of the ball there. He's also popular on Fanduel and Yahoo, but specifically high on DraftKings with a $7,100 price. So not a giveaway price for a wide receiver either.
For sure.
How about the other side of the ball, Steven? Baltimore.
So Baltimore's run game last week, none of those guys are, they're long-term fit for them. So hopefully when the inactive list comes out, and if J.K. Dobbins is an active player, I would have him in my lineup. I like Lamar Jackson, and I like Mark Andrews in this.
Okay. How about your side of it, Crash?
Yeah, I like Mark Andrews. We played him last week. He got 7 targets. He had 5 receptions for 50-something yards. I can't remember exactly, but I think he'll get targeted, heavily again. And this time I think he'll get in the end zone. So Mark Andrews is my top play from this matchup. I also like Devin Duvernay. He had a nice game last week. He had 4 catches for 54 yards, and he got in the end zone twice. So I don't know what his ownership's going to be, but if it's going to be high, I'll probably go to Bateman. But if not, I do like Duvernay.
Okay. On the Baltimore side right now, Mark Andrews is projected to be the highest owned tight end on the entire slate.
Makes sense.
Very interesting. Right now, coming in at about 14% ownership at $6,400. So a little bit chalky with Andrews, but understandable,
Mm-hmm.
All right, outstanding. Let's go on to the next ball game here. We're going to keep things cracking today. No messing around. We've got the New York Jets at the Cleveland Browns. Jets obviously 0-1, Browns 1-0. It is Cleveland by 6.5. 39.5 is the over/under. Beautiful 80 degrees in Cleveland, which is really weird for this time of year, even this warm still in the north. And they are hosting the Jets here in a game that should have some beautiful conditions. I don't know how beautiful the game's going to be, but it should be beautiful conditions. Crash, what do you think about the Jets?
I don't really like the Jets at all. I mean, I don't have any plays that I like from their side. A lot of people are looking at Breece Hall, but I think he's still a couple weeks away from really taking over that running back spot. On the Browns side, I do like the running backs in Chubb and Hunt. The only issue is going to be is, Chubb going to get the touchdowns or is Kareem Hunt? So that's a little bit of a concern. I like Hunt more on DraftKings where he's going to get the points for the receptions. And I do like the Browns defense. I think it's a really good matchup for them. Last I checked, they're pretty highly owned, though, so I'm not sure how much of the Browns defense I'm going to get to.
Yeah. Steven?
Yeah, there's no one really for the Jets that I would put into my roster. The only guy that I might consider would be Tyler Conklin.
Okay.
I think he's the only thing, the tight end for the Jets. And then if I was going to go to the other side of the ball, I would choose probably those 2 running backs, either Chubb or Hunt. Problem with this is that Chubb always gets the ball down to the 20-yard line and then Hunt comes in.
Yeah.
So Hunt's going to get you, less volume, but more opportunities to score. So I really like Hunt, especially for where he's priced right now. I think he's a good play. So that's much where I'm at with the Browns.
I have such a hard time, and I mentioned it last week as well. I just can't stand when they split carries like that because you don't know if somebody's going to break it off or they don't always just get down inside the 10 where they can switch out. You just don't know. And when you're so limited on your choices, it makes it very difficult. It's sort of like spinning the wheel. I don't know how you can really favor one over the other a whole bunch, to be honest with you. So that makes it tough, no doubt. The defenses, though, for sure, I think are interesting here. I do agree with you guys on Cleveland's defense. I think that is a really sharp spot to go this week. And you can't underestimate the defenses. I mean, you guys helped me build a lineup that won some cash for me, and I didn't get anything from my defense. So you don't really notice it until you don't get anything from it. Right. And then that's where you want to make sure even if it costs a few bucks extra, in my opinion, you can't beat those points. There's no doubt about it.
I'm surprised.
Go ahead.
Well, I'm just surprised how good the Browns actually looked with those quarterback with Jacoby Brissett. I just
one game though.
Yeah, one game. I mean, still, but they looked pretty good. I mean, they do have a really solid defense. So.
I mean, everybody overreacts to one game, except I'm not overreacting when I say the Cowboys absolutely suck and they're in big trouble. And I'm saying that as a Cowboys fan. They just I've given up the season. They're already backstabbing each other. The coaches are talking trash. I mean, it's a disaster. How can it be a disaster after 1 week? Good
Dak
God.
was terrible before he even got injured. Dak was overthrowing people, underthrowing people, spending too much time in the pocket. I mean, just they didn't even look good with him in there. So I'm kind of blown away. Their defense wasn't very good. I don't know. I don't know what to do about Dallas.
It's a disaster, and it's already happened. Not waiting to happen. It has happened.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens with that. I want to say hello to a few new people. Candace Reynolds jumping in there. Great to have you in with the group. Absolute Power. Great to have you jump in here with us as well. All right, we're giving away our first double tickets.
Sorry, it caught my eye. I just saw something about the Brewers game.
I
was trying not to see anything.
I know. Adamas homer. Acuna homer too, though. That's my BVP call. So that was cool. All right. Our first duo of tickets. So if you get selected, please shoot us your PayPal email address so we can send you your winnings. And you can do that on Twitter at DFS Coach Talk. The first double winner here is Gizmo Perk. Gizmo Perk, you have just won 2 tickets to the Millie Maker, and we want you to take that sucker down and give us a shout out at Coach Talk. All right. We're going to keep the train moving instead of getting distracted with these home runs on our other squads and everything else going on. All right. Next game on the board, fellas, is the Washington Commanders. I cannot get used to that one. Against the Detroit Lions. It is Detroit by 1 in this game, believe it or not. 48.5 is the number. So very interesting to see if this is going to get some feels here for some ownership. Let's dive to you first, Steven, on the Commander side of the ball.
Commander side of the ball, I like Antonio Gibson. I think he's going to get the bulk of the carries, and he got 8 targets last game out of the backfield. So that's a really strong play. Carson Wentz looked good last week. Let's see if he can do it again. Again, it could be a really good value pick for somebody based off of what he's capable of. But you see how it goes sometimes with Carson Wentz. It's either feast or famine. So the only guy I really like on the Commanders would be Antonio Gibson this week.
Okay. Yeah, Wentz is definitely the GPP kind of guy, no doubt about it. Crash, what do you have to say about the Commanders?
Probably going to come as a surprise. This is my GPP stack.
Wow.
Washington. Yep. I've got Wentz, I've got Gibson, McLaurin, Samuel, and Logan Thomas. Logan Thomas is in a revenge game against Detroit.
Good point.
Curtis Samuel's been was targeted 11 times last week, and I think Johan Dotson's going to get a lot of. He's real popular. Going to get a lot of ownership, but I like Samuel and I like McLaurin here quite a bit. And I think this is going to be a very high scoring game. I mean, it's a 48.5 over under.
Right.
And I think that Washington's going to go overlooked. I mean, like Steve said, Carson Wentz looked really good last week. And he has been kind of up and down. But I also think this is a pretty, talented offense for him to have weapons around him. So, I do like Washington here quite a bit.
Wow. Very interesting. And, these guys are getting ownership too. There's no question about it. We'll go over some of these guys from this game that there's like 5 of them in the top 25 as far as projected ownership right off the bat. So what about the Lions side of the ball, Steven?
Yep. So on the Lions side of the ball, I like DeAndre Swift. He's dual threat running back, catches a lot of passes. I really like him this week. The running backs last week against the Commanders did well. Jacksonville, Robinson, and Etienne did pretty good. Robinson had 2 touchdowns. So I really like DeAndre Swift in this situation. I also like Armand St. Brown. I think that's a good play as well. And then also for a GPP, you could throw Jared Goff in there as well. Last week, Trevor Lawrence had a pretty solid game, and And last week, Jared Goff had a really solid game, and they actually look really good. I really love the coach over there too. He's really totally changed that team around. I mean, when's the last time that Detroit was favored to win?
Right.
Not often.
Never. Yeah,
that's
never.
true. That's true.
I saw his speech, his motivational speech. Their coach. He's an old school, fired up guy. Yeah.
He is. Didn't work out too well for him in Miami, but I think he's found a good home in Detroit. I like Amon-Ra St. Brown as well, Steve. Swift, I'm a little concerned about because he rolled his ankle in the last game. And I think Jamal Williams is going to get, like he did last week, some of those vulture touchdowns. And on Fanduel especially, I like Jamal Williams. On DraftKings, I don't know how much he's going to be, assuming that Swift plays, how much Williams is going to be targeted in the passing game. But for those rushing touchdowns, I think on Fanduel, it's a good play.
Well, people aren't afraid of Swift. He's a top 12 owned projected ownership here right now at 14%, which is pretty healthy. He's the top projected owned guy in this game, but St. Brown is way up there too at 12%. He's getting a lot of respect. And then you've got Hawkinson, who's only 4,700 at tight end. He's getting some love early on. So, you're getting some good representation from this game. Samuel and Gibson also are pretty high up the list. So I think people expect this game to be up and down. And I think that's, you're going to see some ownership and some representation here. And I think you may need some of it,
Yeah, definitely.
All right, Tony A, what's up? Coach Mom's in the chat. How are you doing? Let's see who's in there. Who else? We said JT, I think I said hello to already. I'm not sure. All right, any questions, make sure to throw them in there, and we'll get to those as we roll here. All right, onward, upward. Indianapolis Colts, Jacksonville Jaguars. That game is in Indianapolis, favored by 1, coming off that insane tie that they had. They're favored by 3. I take that back. They're favored by 3 against the Jaguars, who are 0-1 as well. It is a 35% chance of some showers for this game. So I don't know if that affects any ownership here. We'll follow that closely and post some things in Discord. But it is going to be warm in Jacksonville, about 80 degrees. The over-under sitting at 45. So, man, this is a hard one to figure, at least for me. So I'm very interested to see your insights, guys, on this game. Crash, you want to lead off with the Colts?
Yeah. Obviously, Jonathan Taylor is the top play for me. And this is an interesting game because – was it last year or 2 years ago that Jacksonville, they upset the Colts, right? In Jacksonville? Yeah, it was like a 9-6 game. Everyone thought the Colts were going to destroy them.
Exactly.
And I don't think that's going to happen again.
It was like a 20-point spread or something like that.
Yeah, it was
Remember
crazy.
that?
Yeah. And they ended up winning 9-6. It was just some crazy kind of game. But, so Jonathan Taylor and the Colts defense would be my top plays. And then on the Jacksonville side, I do like James Robinson, depending on his ownership. It looks like he's going to be fairly highly owned. So,
yeah. How about you, Steven?
On the Colts side, I love Jonathan Taylor. He's like the guaranteed point guy.
Yeah.
I also
9,900 though.
It's a tough.
That's a tough
price to pay.
Yeah,
for sure. Unfortunately, Michael Pittman got hurt, so Matt Ryan lost his number 1 receiver. However, Matt Ryan, you could play him too. He's a pretty value guy that you can throw in your lineup as well. So those are really the only 2 people that I would play from the Colts, other than potentially their defense. But Jacksonville looked really good last week, their offense, and with Doug Peterson and kind of what he's doing with that team. Christian Kirk looks like it's a perfect spot for him. So that was a great transition in the offseason. I like Christian Kirk. I like James Robinson, and I like Trevor Lawrence for Jacksonville.
Oh, you like the Jags then, huh?
I do. I like the Jags. Yep.
GPP-ish kind of maneuver there. I like it.
Yeah, they looked really good last week. Unfortunately, they lost, but
Any Jags love for you, Crash?
Like I said, I do like James Robinson, but yeah, I mean, I still like the Colts in this game. I mean, I think they win, and I think Jonathan Taylor is going to dominate the time of possession. So
the question is, though, do you commit almost 10 grand to him? I mean, it does affect the rest of your lineup.
Right.
That's
right.
my concern.
I'm not going to him in my like single entry and cash type lineups, but I do have a GPP where I fit him in because all the other value plays I have.
I mean, he could go nuts and break the slate, if you will, and he's only projected right now at 11% ownership, which, it's still a decent amount, but,
it's that price tag.
The price tag's rough. Christian Kirk, also, as you mentioned, Stephen, is getting a lot of love. He's a 10% ownership right now. So people are, jumping on the bandwagon with him, which makes sense. But those are really the main two guys. I mean, that's really an interesting take, though. I didn't expect you to be that strong on the Jags. So that's a good takeaway for me. I'll keep them a little bit more an eye on those guys and look to put some of them in there. All right. Let's see. Next ball game here. We go to the New Orleans, and Tom Brady's record against the Saints, by the way?
Yeah, 0-4 with the Bucs.
Yeah, he has not beaten the Saints. Isn't that wild?
In the regular season, he did beat him in the playoffs in 2020, but yeah.
Considering he wins so many games, but he just doesn't beat the Saints. I got a feeling that could flip pretty quick this week. But Tampa comes in 1-0 against the Saints that are 1-0 as well. Tampa's only a 2.5 point favorite, but they are still a road favorite. 44 is the total in the Dome in New Orleans. And this has a lot of intrigue. I'll tell you right now, I don't care what anybody says. I know Tom Brady is supposed to have a great game here and all this stuff being said, but people's personal lives are definitely, you need to keep an eye on stuff. He looks extremely thin. He looks extremely stressed to me. Obviously having some marital issues. So that concerns me. And I'm just interested to see what you guys, what your take is on it. Crash, what are you going to do with the Bucs? And I know Brady was our thumbnail, so what's the scoop?
Yeah, there was a reason for that.
Okay.
I like the Saints in this game, and there's a lot of reasons to me to like the Saints.
Wow.
I think that, for one, if you just look at the injury report, I mean, Leonard Fournette, questionable. Mike Evans, questionable. Julio Jones, questionable, which surprise there. It seemed like he's always questionable.
Always hurt.
And Russell Gage is questionable. So, I mean, who's Brady going to throw to?
And Godwin's out.
And Godwin's out. So I think this is, unfortunately for Tampa, I think it's going to be more of the same against New Orleans.
So is Mike Evans become like dead cinch lock just out of sheer necessity?
Well, no, because
Marshawn Lattimore
has had his number. And so I really think it's going to be a struggle. I mean, especially if Fournette's out. I mean, they really need to be able to run the ball. And then with that being said, you have the Saints run defense, which is one of the best in the league. So I don't know. I think it's going to be a tough day for Tampa. I actually like both defenses in this game. So
wow. So you did the old thumbnail switcheroo for fade Brady.
Right.
I gotcha. Crafty, Crash, because I was ready to jump on you for I don't think he's a good play this week either. And I mean, it's not like we haven't second guessed playing him 100,000 times for the last million years.
Yeah.
And he always seems to rise to the occasion. But man, the deck seems very stacked against him. Don't you think so, Stephen?
I do. I think this is going to be the lowest scoring game of the week.
Okay.
I mean, he obviously, what Crash was saying about all of his weapons not being, all questionable, a couple guys out. I don't really know who he's going to be able to go to. Is it Brashard Perriman and Scotty Miller? I even think he's questionable. Yeah. So I don't even know who's going to fit into that offense. And then on, and like you were saying before, Buccaneers have lost, last 4 times against the Saints. in the regular season. So I'm gonna lean towards the Saints on this. There's a couple good plays that I like with the Saints. I actually like Taysom Hill in the tight end position. You mentioned
that
he did well last week. I think I mentioned him last week.
Yeah,
I really like him in this. Alvin Kamara is kind of hurt, so you will see Taysom Hill probably take 8 to 10 handoffs this week. To be honest with you, I think he's just so explosive and he runs so hard and he's so strong. I think he's a better running back than Alvin Kamara. Really, I think Alvin Kamara. I think he's slipped off the past year and a half. I don't know if he's lost a step or really what it is, but I'm fading Alvin Kamara. So I would take either one of the defenses in this, and then I would take Taysom Hill for a tight end position.
Okay.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. I mean, I definitely like Alvin Kamara more in the backfield as a passer, but I still think he can make people miss in the running game. But I mean, that's neither here nor there. I think it's going to be it's going to be a low scoring game. So
his linebackers for the Bucs are just so good,
right?
Well,
and then Winston will turn the ball over.
He always does.
Yeah.
If Fournette plays, he is getting a ton of initial ownership here, at least projected to be 17% owned, which is the fourth highest running back on the board. So if he's in there, even with Brady having less weapons, maybe Fournette is the way to go. But we'll have to see what that status is as the day goes on.
I think if he did play, then they would just stack the box. I mean, they'll put Lattimore on Evans and force everyone else to beat them. So I don't know if he would be that great of a play, honestly. I mean, the Saints have been really good against the run. So
I'm not totally giving up on Mike Evans, though, even though he has that wicked matchup. Still a stud, man. And if they're really pushed against the wall and he's the main weapon, I still think they can get him the ball. I think his ownership.
Brady will figure out a way to get him the ball.
His ownership showing at 9%, so I don't think I'm alone in that.
Yeah, you're not. But I actually have him in my season long, so I have to make some decisions myself about him. But
there's just problems all over the Bucs, though. Their offensive line is all banged up, guys missing. I just don't think it's the right time of the year to really take anyone on the Bucs. So
no, I don't blame you. I saw Brett in here. Did he put the link in here? Do you guys know? Have you seen the link pop up? Brett, if Brett, if you're listening and you want to post that link, I'm not sure where to post it, but if you joined late, anybody that's here in the chat with us, we're offering a 1-week free membership. Just come and try us out. We'd love the chatter in here during our live podcast, and we want to have some of that in our Discord. So
he posted it in Discord. Do you want me to try and post it?
Yes, if you wouldn't mind, that would be wonderful. And when you're doing that, I will go with our second winner. So going to spin it and come up with a winner for the 2 tickets for the Millie Maker tomorrow. And it's Tony A. Tony, you are A number 1 in our book. You have won 2 tickets at DFS Coach Talk. Tweet us your PayPal email address, and we'll send you those 2 tickets. And there is, let's see. So can you click on that?
That's not the link. Hang on.
It's not working.
This one.
So what we want to do is, I don't know if Brett's even in there. But
there we go. That's it right there.
Is it?
Yeah. You may have to copy it and paste it somewhere else or something, because it doesn't necessarily look like you can click on that. But let me put it on the screen here so everyone can see it.
Yeah, if we can copy and paste that, and Brett, if you're in there, let us know if that's exactly what we're supposed to do. But that'll give you the link to join, and you'll automatically be in there for a full week. So we're excited about that. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. All right, we're going to continue to move forward with the breakdown of these games. You're welcome, Tony A. Congratulations. Just win so we can have something to celebrate. All right, Carolina Panthers, New York Football Giants. Panthers 0-1, Giants 1-0. Game is in New York, and they are favored by 243.5 total. Fantastic weather all over and warm on the East Coast. This game in New York, how about 81 degrees, fellas? It's like a
nice.
summer game. And this should be an interesting one. I think this has a lot of intrigue. 43.5 average number. So, Crash, what do you think about the Giants? Let's start with the Giants.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not big on either one of these quarterbacks, so it's definitely the running backs. I mean, it's Christian McCaffrey and Saquon Barkley, no duh. But I think that, they're my two favorite backs on this slate. So I definitely want to try and get to those guys as much as possible, especially Saquon Barkley. I think I like him just about more than anyone.
Chalk City.
Numbers. Yeah. He is chalk for sure. But
he's the highest owned projected player for the whole day. 24% ownership right now.
Yeah, I do like Saquon a lot.
But he deserves it. And Christian McCaffrey's fourth at 18%. So you're not alone.
I think McCaffrey will bounce back in a big way. Tough matchup last week against the Browns run defense, but I like McCaffrey a lot too.
The interesting part about it is McCaffrey is $1,600 more expensive than Barkley.
I know.
So that puts a big twist on it.
Yeah.
Does that affect your selection, Steven?
I don't know if Saquon Barkley's back. I really like him, and I'm glad what he was able to do last week, but I'm not sure I can really trust on him just yet. And for that price tag, I think I can find other guys that I can fit in there to put my lineup somewhere else. So I'm kind of fading Saquon Barkley in this matchup. Really, because he's the only weapon that the Giants have, and
true.
I don't really trust Daniel Jones at all. I'm sure he'll throw a couple picks. But on the other side of the ball, the Panthers, they're not really good either in the passing game. They have Christian McCaffrey. Do I take Christian McCaffrey? I'm kind of fading both sides. I think I think they're going to stop the running game for the Giants and for the Panthers this week.
Wow. So opposite opinions here. Crash likes the backs.
That's what the people want. The people want contrasting opinions. So
that's right.
We're not doing the Stephen A. and Skip Bayless thing either. This is legit.
Right.
Yeah.
I love looking at those guys and seeing them potentially in my lineup. For some reason, I'm fading them this week. So.
I was surprised that McCaffrey had such a average to poor game last week. That shocked me. And I think the sticker shock with him being the fact that he stung a lot of people last week is going to be difficult for people. But, I get it that Saquon, he was popular last week. He's the most popular this week. It makes sense, but I don't know if this is the best spot. You know?
I don't know that he's going to get 164 yards. I mean, my gosh. That's ridiculous. So I could definitely see some regression there. And the ownership thing too. I can definitely see why your stance is where it's at, Steve. I can definitely see why.
I mean, it makes sense, but it's hard. I think it's hard to fade both of them because it should be a really good matchup for, they're both going to be in the spotlight. There's no question about it.
There's a couple more backs though that I like too, so I could see you could get to those guys too. So
the only other guy grabbing some decent ownership at 10% is DJ Moore, 5,700. You guys like him at all? Crash? Any DJ Moore for you?
Not in this game. I know Baker Mayfield was great in college and everything, but I just never have really been impressed with him. I don't trust him. So,
how about you, DJ Moore?
No,
Steven?
I don't like DJ Moore either. He didn't really do anything last week. And again, what Crash was saying about Baker Mayfield, he just, I think he's regressed quite a bit for the past 2 years. So maybe Robbie Anderson might catch another 70-yard touchdown, but
Probably not.
Probably not. That's what Robbie Anderson does the first game of the year every year.
Right.
Is get that 70-yard touchdown. So
yeah.
And again, I don't really like any play in these matchups at all.
Yeah,
okay.
he's cocky, but by any means, fade that guy, Robbie Anderson.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Sucker play, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
for sure.
I'm with you. All right, move on to the last 1 o'clock game, and that is the New England Patriots 0-1 against the 1-0 Steelers in that insane game that was one for the ages. It is also going to be beautiful in Pittsburgh, 77 degrees, no chance of rain, no wind. I mean, it's perfect conditions. Patriots are road favorites by 2.5. And it is 40.5. So pretty low total in comparison. Any love here in this game for the steel curtain, Crash?
I like the defense in both sides of this game. I think this will be, if the Tampa New Orleans game isn't the lowest scoring game, I think this will be the lowest scoring game. These two teams to me are just, defensive oriented. And, New England had a letdown last week. I think they bounced back, and Pittsburgh had a huge win on the road in Cincinnati, and they lost TJ Watt. I think they fall back quite a bit this week.
Yeah, losing
Watt is going to throw the ball to New England at least 2 times. So.
Yeah.
Watt is unbelievable, by the way.
Yeah, he is. It's very unfortunate that they lost him. But,
yeah. Go ahead, Steven.
Yeah, I would go with the defenses as well. Like Crash was saying, I think that's the only real play here. Najee Harris is kind of, he's going to be in and out more. They were talking about taking away some of his volume because of his ankle sprain. So I don't really like that. I don't like the running backs for the Patriots either. They split carries too much, and they really don't do anything either. So I don't like any of those plays. I don't like either one of the quarterbacks. The only thing I really like is the defenses and the coaches. That's probably about it. If I could put a coach in there, I'd probably play a coach for any of the players.
Yeah. And neither one of these teams are getting any love either, as far as from the Jacoby Myers a little bit, but really nobody.
Well, it's crazy because they made the Steelers like the most. I don't know about. I can't remember on DraftKings, but on Fanduel, they're the most expensive defense. So
wow,
pretty crazy to me. Yeah,
that'll affect ownership for sure.
Yeah.
All right, excellent.
Oh, go ahead.
Let's move to the 4 o'clock games. Let's get right into that. Pace is way better this week. I'm proud of you guys. Atlanta Falcons at the LA Rams, a couple of 0-1 teams going at it in Los Angeles. It is going to be the Rams favored by 10 in this game. Big number, and a fairly big over-under at 46.5. Wow. Perfect weather in LA, as you would expect. What is going to happen in this game? Do the Rams bounce back is the big question. Do you like any of the Rams here, Steven?
Yeah, I like Cooper Kupp. I think he's a pretty solid play. Again, he's going to be a pretty high-priced ticket in order to put him on your squad. I'm wondering how, watching last week and watching the Rams play the Bills, they just don't have that explosive guy. Maybe it was the loss of Van Jefferson, him not playing. But there's not anyone that can stretch the field.
Yeah.
In my season-long fantasy league, I have Matthew Stafford. And and he didn't look like he did. He had too many problems. He was just hurried and he was sacked so many times.
Yeah. Well, Buffalo's tough though too.
Yeah. The Bills are a really, really strong team. So I think he's going to have a bounce back game. The only guy that I would probably take for the Rams, because I don't trust the backfield situation for them either with Henderson and Akers. I don't know what really happened to Akers last week either. So the only play I would probably do is Cooper Kupp for the Rams.
Okay. And another $9,900 guy though. That's
super
That's
expensive.
where it gets tough, man. You're going to have to take a salary loan out, Steven.
Yeah.
Crash, what do you think about the Rams?
Yeah, I mean, I like Cooper Kupp, of course, but I also like Allen Robinson. I know he didn't really get any looks last week, but I think that he has the potential. I mean, somebody's going to have to step up as that wide receiver too, or teams are just going to triple team Cooper Kupp.
Right.
So I think that he'll be the guy to do it, and hopefully at lower ownership. The last I checked, his ownership was higher than I expected. So if it is going to be higher, I don't want to go there. But if I can get him at low ownership, I will be playing Allen Robinson as well.
Robinson, yeah.
Yeah, and then the Rams defense. I like the Rams defense against Atlanta. They're very limited in their weaponry. So
yeah. Are you concerned at all about a blowout here?
A little bit. Yeah.
Because that is a killer as well. When you guys
Yeah. I think the Rams want to make a statement too, especially losing last week. I think Sean McVay, if he can run up the score, he will.
Right.
So that's my concern, is that they just smack them.
Mm-hmm. On the Atlanta side, I do like Kyle Pitts. I think he's a good play.
Kyle Pitts?
Mm-hmm.
That's the only Falcon
That's the only Falcon
zeroing in on.
Cordell Patterson you can look at too, but I think the Rams defense is going to step up in this game, and it's going to be a passing game for the Falcons. So
yeah. Any Falcons for you, Steven?
Yes, I like Pitts as well, and I like Cordell Patterson in this. I like Cordell Patterson is looking really good. He looked really good last week. I think they're going to get him the ball a lot. I think with Marcus Mariota back there, I mean, he's not the greatest quarterback, but he does have that threat with his run ability. They're going to do a lot of run pass options with it, and they're going to figure out different ways to kind of trick that defense and get Patterson the ball maybe over the middle or out onto the outside. So I do like Patterson, especially for how much he's costing right now in DraftKings. I think it is.
Very nice. What's interesting here, the 7th highest owned overall player projection right now for ownership at 16% is Darrell Henderson. Does that surprise you guys?
Well, a little bit, but then again, we're talking about the possibility of a blowout, so he'll get a lot of carries if that happens.
Yeah.
Atlanta's run defense is not great. So, I mean, I can see why.
5,700 is cheap too.
Yeah.
You just don't know what's going to happen this week with Akers there. They said that they're going to get during the week.
Yeah, that was a shocker.
Yeah, they've been saying that they're going to try to get him the ball more than obviously last week. I think he only had like 3 carries last week. So let me wait to see one more week before I start picking running backs for the Rams.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I thought that was a shocking over ownership projection right off the bat for Henderson. I think that may go down a little bit. Kupp is in the top 12. He's 12th at 13%. So a lot of people will pay the 9,900 and get up to him. The guy that shocked me though, that was in the top 25 projection here at double digits, almost 11%, is Tyler Higbee.
Really?
Any love for him?
He wasn't on my radar at all. So I don't know. Yeah. I didn't have any Tyler Higbee at this point, but he might, sneak in a GPP. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe people are looking at kind of the stats of what the tight ends against the Falcons, and last week it was Taysom Hill because he was listed as a tight end.
Right.
And,
exactly.
Taysom Hill had like 15, 16 points last week. So Tyler Higbee is definitely not Taysom Hill.
No.
I don't. I don't like Tyler Higbee in this game.
Yeah, that could be just a misnomer there. Good fade possibly, especially if he is, 15, 16% owned. That's a nice fade, I think. But that was a great call on Hill last week, by the way. You mentioned it on the podcast here. That was an outstanding call. All right, another winner. Let's do the third winner. We want to keep giving stuff out. Again, if you're on the podcast, has anybody, I wonder if anybody has used it yet. If you can copy and paste the link here and join us for a week of Coach Talk, we would love to have you in the mix to do that. All right, I'm going to spin it. Oh, no, it's King of Smack? Really? King of Smack you were favored to win the Millie Maker as it was, and now you're getting 2 free tickets on top of that. Wow. Unbelievable.
Coach, we've got Black Jesus 521 has joined. So
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Well, welcome. I don't see him in the
It's probably somebody in here that just have a different name.
Cool. Great.
Yeah.
All right. Well, at least we know it's working. So that's a very great thing. Well, congratulations, KOS, as he is referred to in the chat. All right, let's get back to these 405 games. 2 free tickets to paradise. I think I know that song.
Mm-hmm.
I do. Yeah. All right, we are going to the next ball game here, guys. If you're ready, how about we attack the Seattle Seahawks? 1-0 against the San Francisco 49ers. 0-1. San Fran, a big favorite here by 9. 40.5 is the total. How about some Seahawks for you, Crash?
I do like the Seahawks defense a little bit. I look at what they did to Denver. They held them in check for the most part the whole game, kept them out of the end zone. And so I think that they did a good job. I don't think they completely kept them out, but I think they did a really good job on defense in general. And, looking what San Francisco did, which I know they had the monsoon, but, San Francisco really struggled with the Bears defense, and I don't really think the Bears defense is that great. So, they lost Khalil Mack. They lost Akeem Hicks.
Yeah.
It's a lot of their great players. So I think that Seattle can hold San Francisco down. I think they're really going to miss Mike McDaniel this year. They're injured right now. They don't have Elijah Mitchell. I do like Jeff Wilson a little bit, but probably not as much as a lot of people.
Okay. Seahawks for you, Steven?
How good did Geno Smith look last week? He looked awesome. And the guys that he threw it to were his tight ends. Will Dissly and Parkinson.
Right.
So Will Dissly, he's a guy that's on my radar, a guy that you're trying to fill up your lineup with. I think it's a guy that you can throw in there. I think that's why Higbee was in the last game with the Rams, why he's such high ownership, because I think people are just trying to fill in their roster. But so with the Seattle, I like Dissly. He's really the only guy that I kind of like on there. I don't really like Geno Smith as a quarterback, and Kenneth Walker just came back, so I don't know what's going to happen in the running back situation.
Yeah.
So
split carries there, you think?
Yeah, I think over the long haul of the season, I see Walker being the play.
I don't know what happened if you're
disappearing into the sun.
You have the biggest sunshine right on your lips.
Yeah.
Now it's on your neck.
Yeah. I'm trying to make it look like a bow tie. But
it's like God is speaking to us.
Yeah.
That happens every now and again.
It's sunny and you're on the West Coast. See, it's pitch black here on the East Coast.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
That's funny.
But so I don't really like the receivers there, and I think Geno Smith will throw to his tight ends, and I like Dissly. On the other side of the ball, like Crash was saying, Elijah Mitchell, he's now on IR. They brought in Jeff Wilson, or Jeff Wilson's been there, so he's going to be the running back. But Kyle Shanahan, I think what he's trying to do with Trey Lance is do a lot of those RPOs. So I don't think the running back's going to get much of the workload as they normally do. I think I like Debo. I like Debo in the game. He's just that type of player that they're going to get him the ball, and he's so explosive. So I would, for the 49ers, I would probably take Debo. And again, I like Crash was saying, I like both defenses as well. So
any love for the Niners for you, Crash?
Yeah, I like Debo as well. I didn't mention him, but I do like Debo. I like both, technically running backs, with Debo the way he played last year, but like Steve was saying, he may not be in that role as much without Mike McDaniel there. So I do like Debo though in the passing game.
Yeah, I think that's a big difference is
Mhm.
who's calling those plays. I mean, that makes quite a difference. But he is double digit. Oh, your God is done speaking. So,
God is done speaking.
oh man. Yeah, Debo Samuel is 10% owned right now, only double digit ownership guy in this projection at this point. So, sort of a flat game here. Also, a game that could get lopsided. It's possible.
Yeah.
But my brother would want to hear that. He's a Seahawks fan, but that's the breaks.
Okay.
I think
Yeah.
that is the reality of it. Is I think that San Fran's just the better team. So we will see. Somebody says wind 25 to 40 miles an hour. Where is that at? Heavy rain and wind. Tony A is telling us something.
You're saying
about
that's San Francisco? They're really going to have another game like that?
I'm just looking at it right now, and it
says
that it's
12.
going to be 14% chance of a shower with 12-mile-an-hour winds. That's something we'll keep an eye on, Tony A. If something is blowing in that we don't know about, then we will check that out because that will affect that game. Although, really, I don't see this as being a key game on the slate at all.
No, I don't think so.
All right, let's move forward to, unfortunately, the Cincinnati Bengals at the Dallas Cowboys. It is a couple of 0-1 teams, and Cincinnati's mad, and Dallas is in trouble. Cooper Rush, I know that you guys are going to lock him in as a cinch play this week. Cincinnati's favored by 7, and it is 42 on the over-under. I just have this could get ugly. That's all I'm going to say. What do you think on this? I can't even break the teams down. It's too painful. Just Crash, what do you think about this Bengals Cowboys game? I don't even want to talk about it.
I think it definitely could get ugly. But Cooper Rush, he did go into Minnesota last year and win a game, which I was cheering for the Cowboys, of course, at that time.
So Crash is saying he's playing Cooper Rush. All right.
No, no, I'm not saying that. But I like the big three for Cincinnati: Burrow, Mixon, and Chase. Those three, any of those guys, I think you can play. Mixon's probably my favorite because I do think this game's going to get a little out of hand. So he'll take the time of possession away and get a lot of carries. And then Chase, Dallas doesn't really have anyone to stop him. So
what do you mean they don't have anybody to stop him?
Trayvon Diggs is overrated. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, they're talking some smack though, those two guys too, Chase and Diggs. So that should be an interesting little matchup, I think.
I'll be surprised if Chase doesn't dominate that matchup though. We'll see though. We'll see.
All right. What do you think, Steven?
Well, with the Cowboys, I actually like Ezekiel Elliott in this game. I think they're going to try to control the game. They're not going to put too much pressure on Cooper Rush.
Okay.
They're just gonna play 5 yards in a cloud of dust.
Don't you think they're gonna load up the box though and make Rush?
Yeah. I mean, once they start doing that, and I don't know. I don't really like the Bengals defense, so I actually do like Ezekiel Elliott in this game, and I also like Dalton Schultz because he'll be the security blanket for Cooper Rush. But other than that, there's no one really on Dallas. I just wanted to give you a little bit of love for that, Coach.
Yeah.
I want to give you a little bit of love for Dallas, but yeah, those are the two guys. Now, as far as the Bengals go, I like those three guys: Chase, Burrow, and Mixon. And like you said, Mixon is probably the best play in this. You see what Leonard Fournette did to the defense. Ran and caught balls all over that defense. There wasn't much that they could do.
Right.
So Mixon is a really strong play, and I think Burrow's going to have a bounce back game too. I don't think he's going to throw 3 picks like he did last week. I think he'll in the first half.
Yeah.
So I like Burrow as well. I really like all 3 of them, but I don't see if it's possible to get all of those guys into your lineup.
Yeah.
Because of that.
And I will say for Dallas, I do like CeeDee Lamb. He was targeted 11 times last week. He only had 2 catches, but he was also heavily targeted when Cooper Rush came in. So I definitely like CeeDee Lamb in this game.
Did you hear Jerry Jones talking noise about CD?
What did he say?
He said that top receivers in the league still have to catch the ball when they're covered or double covered. So he didn't say his name, but he threw shade directly at him. So yeah, that's just
he could be extra motivated. Yeah,
he'll be extra motivated, but the implosion continues. And I don't know. I don't feel comfortable playing CD with Rush throwing to him as opposed to Dak, but it is what it is. I can tell you my favorite play of this game and of the entire slate is Joe Mixon. I think he's going to slash him. I think the Bengals are going to be in control of this game. He's 7,200 and he is a bit chalky. He is seventh most projected owned at 15%. He looked so sharp last week and he looks healthy. I don't think Burrow's going to have to throw that much. I do think I think Chase can be held in check just a bit. I have a little more confidence in that DB than you do there, Crash. But I just think Mixon is a solid play here. The sad sack thing for the Cowboys, though, you know what the seventh most projected owned spot is for the week, guys? What's Cincinnati Bengals defense.
Yeah, I know. I saw that. And neither one of us looked their defense.
14.6% owned. A top 10, and it's a defense. That sucks.
Yeah, it's all about Dak Prescott. That's the problem.
Yeah, it is the problem, but that almost leads you to want to play Dallas players, but I don't trust them enough.
Right?
So
no, I don't trust them. I think it's a dangerous game. But for some reason though, I don't see how they're going to contain Mixon if they're going to try to guard the wideout. So we'll see. We will see. I will be rooting for your Zeke Elliott call here. I hope he does. He does look in better shape.
He looks great
than he has in a long time.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that.
He's gonna have 2 touchdowns this week. Watch.
Wow. Okay, let's take it. I love it, man. I will buy into that one for sure. All right, we go on to the Houston Texans. They are 0-0-1, part of that phenomenal tie against the Denver Broncos. Hugely disappointing effort. They are 0-1, and it's played in Denver. Another double-digit favorite here, though. So that's going to have these games with these double-digit 9, 10, 11-point spreads are going to affect this slate big time.
For sure.
And, it really is. 86 degrees expected in Denver. So crazy warm for these games. No wind to speak of. So it should be a possible shootout here for these teams, but it's only 45 on the total, which is decent. But I think this game could have some points. Crash, what do you think about the Texans?
Yeah, I do like O.J. Howard a little bit in this game.
Okay.
He got 2 touchdowns last week, and he's fairly inexpensive. But I really like Javonte Williams. He had 12 targets in that game with Seattle.
That's what it's about, is targets. I mean, it really is.
Get anywhere near those kind of targets, because I think he's going to run all over Houston. So he's the one running back that I alluded to earlier that I would probably go to outside of like Barkley and McCaffrey. I like him a lot. And then Jerry Jeudy looked really good to me too, so I like him in this match.
He did look good.
Yeah.
Any Texans for you, Steven?
Only Texans that I'd go for is Brandon Cooks. That's kind of Davis Mills' guy. He's one of those sleeper type guys that you don't really think about, and he's their wide receiver 1. And if you have a spot to be able to put him in your lineup, I think it's a good play. Pretty solid floor. Doesn't have an incredibly high ceiling, but he's got a pretty solid floor, and that's really the only guy I would take with the Texans. And then
Broncos.
And then as far as the Broncos go, I like Cortland Sutton. I saw that Russell Wilson and him last week, they had a pretty good connection.
Yeah.
He got a lot of targets last week. They seem to be on the same page. And I like Javonte Williams as well. Actually, my brother's got Javonte Williams in his fantasy league, and he was so happy when Melvin Gordon fumbled on the goal line and saying, "Oh my gosh, Javonte Williams is going to take over." But then he came and fumbled on the goal line like the next series. So,
right.
For out of all the backfields that split carries, that's the one the most that I like with Javonte Williams. So I'll try to put him in my lineup as well.
That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll tell you what, Javonte Williams right now, 5th highest projected player, 3rd highest projected running back at 18%. So people saw the same thing you did.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Wow.
Are you going Broncos bounce back here at all, Crash?
You talking about their defense or their players? Their offense?
Overall, the Broncos.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to have Javonte Williams. He's definitely going to be in multiple lineups. Now, the rest of the guys, probably not as much. I think Jerry Jeudy will find his way into a GPP, but that's probably about it for me is those two.
And I'll tell you what, this game is one of the higher owned games when you look at it overall. There's like 5 guys in the top 25. Javonte Williams leading the way at, like I say, almost 18%. Brandon Cooks, as you mentioned, he's only $6,000 at wide receiver. He's coming in at about 14.5%. And then you have Jerry Jeudy, aforementioned there, only 5,600, and Cortland Sutton, 6,100. So a lot of people going to guys in here, and I agree with them. I think this game could be a fairly high scoring game, and I think the Broncos bounce back too.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Hello, Romel H. Yeah, Elliott in the defense is what I'm looking at. All right, we got more Ezekiel love.
More
that
Cowboys
makes me happy.
There we go.
That makes me happy.
Yeah.
King of Smack, what are you saying in there, King of Smack?
He said Flacco, Carter, run back with Chubb. Now that is bold. If you're playing Joe Flacco and Michael Carter.
Whew. Joe Flacco's my age, I think. Good God.
Yeah.
Flacco.
Romel H. I like Romel H. I'm a Giants fan. Okay. We got a football Giants fan in here too. I missed some. There was I thought a question in this mix, but I missed it. I got distracted by actually somebody saying something positive about a Cowboy.
Yeah.
So we'll see. All right. So that game, I think, is a key game. I think it needs, you have to have some exposure to that game, in my opinion. All right, guys, we are down to the last game on the main slate. Arizona Cardinals 0-1, Las Vegas Raiders 0-1. And it is the Raiders favored by 5.5, 51.5. Ding, 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 ding. We have a winner.
Mm-hmm.
Is this game going to be that important to you with this 50+ number, Crash? Are you focusing in on some exposure to this game?
Yeah, in single entry and cash, this will be my highest owned stack.
Okay.
Devontae Adams was targeted 17 times last week.
Yep, that's unbelievable.
And he had 10 catches for 141 yards and a touchdown.
Did that make you? It had to make you a little sick to your tummy there, didn't it?
It did, but it also made me feel a little good because everyone was always saying, "Oh, he's only good because of Aaron Rodgers." I'm like, no, Devontae Adams is
he's a superstar
receiver in the league that I've seen. When it comes to everything, route running, catching, just ability to get open, I mean, he can do it all. So,
17 targets though is just absolutely absurd.
Yeah, and he's my favorite receiver on this slate, no doubt about it. I also saw earlier this week his family's going to be at this game, and they never really got to see him play when he was in Green Bay, which is one of the reasons why he wanted to go to Las Vegas. So,
he is quadruple chalky, but you know what? It's okay to eat the chalk sometimes.
Yeah, I think he'll have a 30 to 40 point game tomorrow.
He is. I mean, if that's the case, then he's under-owned because right now he's about 23% owned or so in that neighborhood. Other than Barkley, he's projected to be the highest owned player. Some sites here, he is projected to be the highest owned player. My question to you, Crash, though, I guess you answered it, is you can't fade him, I guess, huh?
I can't. I mean, I'm not going to. I mean, looking at what, the Chiefs did to the Cardinals, I mean, they just absolutely tore them up.
Yeah.
And they don't have receivers like like the Raiders do. So
yeah,
it's that is a scary sight to me, thinking about what they could do to Arizona. So
Okay. So what else in this game do you like, Crash, since it is that
yeah,
over 50 total?
Yeah, Derek Carr, Adams, Renfro,
Okay.
Waller. I mean, look at what Kelsey did. I like Waller too. So yeah, those 4 guys, I'll probably have all of them in my single entry
So
lineup.
number 1 stack for you, hands down.
Yeah.
Okay. How about the other side of the ball and bringing it back at all? Because if they're gonna blow up for you, it's gonna have to stay close enough.
Yeah, I do like James Conner a little bit. I think they might try and slow the passing game down with their run game. Counterpoint to that. So I think that Conner is a good play. Marquise Brown looked pretty good, but I just don't trust Kyler Murray. I like Conner.
Okay. Give us your breakdown on this one. Are you all over this game as well, like with everybody else?
Yeah. Well, we'll start with the Cardinals. Yeah. So Cardinals, I like Connor. I like Connor in this game. I think they don't really have anyone else to go to other than Connor and maybe Zach Ertz. If you saw last week what Gerald Everett did to the Raiders last week, he was highly involved, and the linebackers just weren't able to guard him. So I like Zach Ertz as well. I think that's a pretty good play.
Yeah.
And then on the other side of the ball, you're right. Devontae Adams gets targeted 17 times. I mean, that's just crazy. As far as like regular football goes and not fantasy, I think that the Raiders need to spread the ball around more to, I think it'll just be better for Devontae Adams as well.
So are you going to fade him?
Yeah. So I mean, I would love to be able to fade him, but I just don't think will shy away from going to him. However, I think the Raiders should fade him.
Right.
I think the Raiders should fade him and get the ball into other people's hands, because when you go a whole game with not catching a ball or not being targeted, and then you're expected to catch a ball, midway through the third quarter, and you're not even looked at, and you see this other receiver on the other side just getting every target. It's almost like you lose
it's deflating.
It's very deflating.
I get that.
So the only guy I would really take on the Raiders, well, actually 2 guys, I would take Carr and I would take Devontae Adams. Everyone else I would stay away from.
Well, do you know who the number 1 projected owned quarterback is right now?
Jalen Hurts?
No, it's Derek Carr. I just gave it to you. I gave you a cookie.
I'm not playing with you.
It is. Derek
I mean, it's a very ugly slate when you look at quarterback. I mean, there's not a lot of good matchups at all. So, I mean, Burrow should be the highest on quarterback, but I don't know.
Now, are you either one of you looking at Carr?
Yeah, I have Carr right now in my single entry in my cash games. Yeah, I do.
Okay.
And I have Carson Wentz in my GPPs. So
let me give you the top ownership guys, Steven, and you can comment if you're going to have any of these guys, because really there's 3 games that are dominating ownership, and this obviously being the number 1. Devontae Adams probably going to be the highest owned guy on the slate. And then you have Josh Jacobs coming in at 12.5%. He's 5,800 at running back. Derek Carr, again, top quarterback right now at 12% at 6,200. Greg Dortch, $3,500, guys.
Yeah.
12% early ownership if you're looking for a punt at wide receiver and trying to go, super cheap.
Yeah.
And then you have Marquise Brown also getting a decent amount of ownership. And then the last 2 guys are Waller and Renfro and James Conner. So this game obviously is going to be the most owned. I do not see him in that top group. Let's see where he is.
Yeah.
Could be the play.
He is all the way down at 6%, guys.
Yeah, he could be the play then for Arizona.
$4,500.
Yeah.
There's a nice.
Yeah, Dortch got like 8 or 9 targets last game.
He got a lot of targets.
Yeah, 9 targets, 7 catches, 63 yards.
Yeah, pretty solid game, really.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. All right. Any other comments on that game in particular?
No, I think we're ready to move on to our prize picks.
All right. I'm going to give out. I've lost track again on how many I've given out. Is this the 4th or the 5th? Anybody know?
I have no idea.
All right, I'm going to give away 2 in a row here. So maybe we're giving away 6. I've lost track. That's my mistake. All right, so if you get called, these 2, you get 2 tickets each. Got to go at DFS Coach Talk. Send us your information. We're going to send you. All we need is your PayPal email, and it goes to you for sure. Bing. It is. Oh, Boy from Cali wins. So I don't know if Boy from Cali, last time he donated it to somebody. That is up to you, Mr. Boy from Cali, but you did win fair and square. And our second winner is Pain Blank SM, and we call him King of Pain. Those are the 2 winners right now for these last 2 drawings. So if Boy from Cali, your call. If you want to collect, we'll love if you guys collect those. Also, if you joined anywhere throughout all of this and you want to get a free week of Coach Talk, all you have to do is copy and paste that link right there. You see it below us, and you will jump in there. No strings. You just get to check us out, hang around in Discord. I really truthfully am very proud of what we do at Coach Talk. I think we have one of the best offerings for our members. We have a real good schedule every day. We stick to it. We're supplying lineups, full lineups for Yahoo and Fanduel, and core 7s for DraftKings. So look forward to seeing you, a bunch of you into our into the mix with us in Discord. And certainly check that out. So let's do prize picks plays of the day. Crash, what do you have for your prize picks plays?
I've got Tom Brady over 0.5 interceptions. He has 2 interceptions in 3 of his last 4 starts in New Orleans. So I've taken him over 0.5 interceptions.
I like that. How about your second play?
My other play, I actually have, because I had to get something in here from the Green Bay Chicago game. I have Aaron Jones over 0.5, and it's pass rush receiving touchdowns. So I doubt he'll throw a passing touchdown, but rushing and receiving, he has a touchdown in 4 of his last 5 games against the Bears. So I'm going to take that 0.5 and say he gets in the end zone at least once.
Gotcha. All right. Steven, how about your 2 top plays for prize picks?
So I have Matt Ryan throwing over 220.5 yards against the Jaguars. I think that he threw for 350 last week.
Mm-hmm.
And then I also have Kyler Murray throwing under 255 yards.
Okay, I like that play. I like both of those plays. I'm playing those 2. I like that, Steven. Not that I don't like yours, Crash. But
no, that's okay.
I'd vote on Steven for these 2 right now. All right, let's flip the script to our presenting sponsor. We love Boom Fantasy. Big shout out to Boom Fantasy. Steven, we'll go to you first this time, since you've taken the reins here on these selections. Are you ready for your Boom Fantasy picks?
Just once. Pulling it up, I had this.
That's okay. We'll let Crash go. Boom Fantasy, Crash. What do you got?
Yeah, so the first play is going to be the one I gave out on prize picks. It's going to be that Tom Brady play over 0.5 interceptions. And my second play is Saquon Barkley over 74.5 rushing yards. I totally don't expect him to get 162, but I do think he'll get more than 75. I think he'll probably get like 85 to 90 is where I have him projected. Yeah.
I like the call.
Mm-hmm.
And is that it, Crash?
Yeah, those are my 2 plays. Yep.
Steven, what about you?
I have Christian McCaffrey over 42.5 receiving yards in that game with the Giants. And then I have Brees Hall 28.5 rushing yards in that game against. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. 28.5 is the number?
28.5.
Okay.
Yep.
I like it. I will mark that one down. All right, guys. I think that's it. We took like exactly the same amount of time as we did last week.
I know.
Almost to the second. That's
Yeah.
hilarious.
It's a lot of information, man.
It is a lot of info.
A lot of games.
We say we're going to try to squeeze it all in, and then we end up going exactly the same. But
we didn't even do our number one play and our number one fade either. So
that's true.
Last week, yeah.
We can do that real quick at this point.
We might as well. We're already there.
We're already we're going to bust our time from last week after chirping we weren't going to do it. All right. What's your favorite play and favorite fade, Crash?
My favorite play is Devontae Adams. My favorite fade is who did I say? Dadgummit. I don't remember now. Oh, shoot.
And you're the one that brought it up.
Yeah, I know. Oh, goodness. Who is it going to be?
We can come back to you.
Well, who are the highest owned players? I'll tell you real quick.
The highest owned players are Saquon Barkley. That's who it was.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Saquon Barkley.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, Steven, what do you have?
Fade. I'm going to go with Christian McCaffrey.
Wow.
I think he'll do well. I just I don't even know if he'll find the end.
Not for that kind of money, huh?
Yeah. And then my biggest play. I'm going to go with Antonio Gibson for the.
Oh wow.
Yep.
I love that one.
Yeah.
I'll throw mine in. I'm going to fade Tom Brady, and I am going. My favorite play is Joe Mixon. So there you go. Throw my 2 cents into the mix here. We close.
Yeah, I like those. Yeah. And for those who didn't remember, your favorite play last week was Patrick Mahomes. So I'd say that turned out pretty well.
Yeah, I had Mahomes, and then Mike Williams. I was a big play for me on. So I'm on a hot streak.
On Thursday. Yeah,
I do like two or three picks, and you guys do like 1,000. So I've got a little bit better chance to beat.
Hey, Justin Watson got in the end zone.
Hey, he did. Yeah.
That was one of the best calls of the entire week by anybody, man.
For sure.
Watson
That was an awesome call.
Fantastic call. Boy from Cali wanted you to mention the contest for our members, Crash, especially now that all these folks are getting in, hopefully, and joining us for the week. Do you want to mention our internal contest?
Yeah, I think we're almost you let me check.
Okay.
Now we lowered it to 10, so
you can't change it at this point?
No, we'll have to change it next week. So we have 8 out of 10.
Okay,
so we
2 more spots left.
Yeah. Let me post the link in here real quick.
Okay, and then we're getting a question at the buzzer here. Favorite quarterback and wide receiver combo?
I'll let you take that one, Steve, because I'm going to try and get this over here.
Well, just based off of volume and kind of, the volume that Devontae Adams gets, got to be Devontae Adams, Derek Carr.
Yeah, I think so too. I think Carr and Adams are the best ones. I think Crash is going to say Burrow and Chase.
I mean, that would be mine too. But if we're going away from the chalk, I like Wentz and Samuel. So,
yeah.
Okay. Yep.
Samuel looked really, really good.
He really did.
He did. He just and now they're finding all different ways. I mean, they did that in Carolina too. They found different ways to get him the ball. So but that team looks really good.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Overreaction 1 week out of 17.
This is probably the last week that we'll do this for members only, and then next week we'll open it up.
And do a bigger contest.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, hopefully everybody that's in here is a member this week, so we'll be able to chat with everybody.
Yeah, anyone in here can get that contest once they get in there.
Absolutely.
Discord. Yep.
All right, gentlemen, great job as usual. Hopefully everybody has a chance to, if they didn't jump in live, they have a chance to check it out this evening or in the morning. And then we'll be back again, the 3 of us, on Thursday at our regular 6:50 p.m. time for the Thursday night showdown game. I'll be back tomorrow at 11 a.m. to do Major League Baseball. And then we're going to have a really enjoyable day of sports tomorrow. So thank you, gentlemen. Great job. Thank you, everybody, for chipping into the conversation, staying in. We kept the same group almost the whole way through, which is really nice considering we went almost an hour and a half. But great job, everybody. Have a great day tomorrow. And we'll certainly be back again next week when we look to crush it in NFL, DFS, Prize Picks, and Boom Fantasy.